Hello and welcome to Maz Makes Stuff. Hi, I'm Maz. I'm going to show you how to design custom fit bangles. These bangles were designed in Fusion 360. That's what we're going to use to design them. And the bangles are custom fit to fit over you based on some measurements that we're going to take. So first things first, we need your measurement. And what we're going to use is we're going to use digital calipers, which they look like this. And if you're in class with me right now, they're probably being moved around, and if you're watching this right now, this is probably a good time to see how to use them up close, right? Okay, so digital calipers, they move where you can pinch here and then pull away, right? And what we're going to use is between here and here to measure. And what we're measuring is the width of your hand, basically. So with these calipers, they might turn automatically on if you just pull them apart. For these, you have to actually hit the red button, turn them on. And another thing you want to make sure is when they're closed, they're zero. If they aren't zeroed out, what you can do is just hit the zero to zero them out. So what I'm going to do is I want to kind of cup my hand like this, right? And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to measure between here and pinch it a little bit snug, and then pull away and try not to move them. And based on what I got my number there, I'll take that to memory. You might want to measure like a couple times, because I know like sometimes I measure and I'll get like 70. Sometimes I'll measure and I get 72, right? So I'm actually going to go with 72 because I've gotten that quite a few times and it seems like a good size. So you're going to want to take that measurement to note. You probably don't have pen and pencil, so that's okay. Just try to remember it, and if you happen to forget, you just have to measure yourself again. This is the most important part about making these, because if you don't get the size right and you print it and it's like too small or too big, that's basically what probably caused why it's not the right size. So we're going to go into Fusion now. So in Fusion, we'll have it up, and this is your empty workspace. So this is a new file. The very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you save. I know Fusion, it does save for you automatically, but that's only after you've saved. So first things first, you go to File and then Save, and then do something that you're going to remember. If you're in class with me right now, please put your name. Please, I mean, it really helps. Really helps. Especially when we're trying to get your bangles back to you. So I'll put something like 333 Maz, right? And then click Save. And then now our project will save periodically. Fusion does that automatically. And everything's in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about, not being able to use this on your computer at home or a different computer or one at the library or something like that. Okay, so in Fusion, we're going to take that number, and it's for this inside part here. First thing we're going to do is create a sketch. So under Sketch, there's Create Sketch. It's in the top up here. You click on Create Sketch, and then we get these kind of three planes that you can highlight, and it kind of moves the grid and stuff like that. So the one we want to use is the top bottom plane, which if you look at the viewport in the top right, there's top and front and right. So the one that's top, that's our top bottom plane. Same as this would be the right and this would be the front. So we want top. So you click on that, you'll get reoriented to a top down view, and then we're going to create a circle. So we're going to use a center diameter circle. So under Sketch, there's Center Diameter Circle. So you go Sketch, Circle, Center Diameter Circle, click on that, and then we'll get these little crosshairs. We're going to want to snap these to the origin. So the origin is these two lines that meet here. So there's one and on my workspace it might be a different color than yours. It's green with red, so it snaps in there. Now we want to make sure we get it on that. So you click once and then move the mouse away. Don't click and drag, click and let go and then move the mouse. So we can kind of eyeball getting to our 72 if you want. I recommend, however, typing in the keyboard your 72, and then you'll press enter to lock that in place. If you're on a Mac, it's return, and then you do it one more time and it sets it. So now this is our path, basically, because we're going to create a profile for here, and it's going to go all the way around, right? So that's what we're going to do there. And to do that, we have to be on a different sketch. So like right now, basically this would be the top down, but we want to switch to like a side, right? Because that's where we're going to draw our next sort of picture. Is it's going to be just the profile. So to do that, we're going to need to create another sketch, but we got to get out of the one we're in currently. So up at the top, there's stop sketch. So you stop that, and then now we have our drawing here, and we're going to create a new one. So some of you, your workspace may have oriented this way. Some of you, it might still look like this, right? So what you can do is in the viewport, you can click home and then front, or if for some reason you're still on top, you can click these little arrows to move down. So this line right here, this is your circle. So it's basically if you drew a circle on a piece of paper and then you set that piece of paper and you looked at it like straight on, it's going to have just a line. It's not going to be a circle. But that's okay. So now we're going to create our new sketch. So under sketch, create sketch. And then this time we're going to select the plane that's the front plane. So you click on that. And then now this is going to be where we're going to create a line. So we have the circle, but then we need to know like how thick is this, right? I don't know. I mean, I know if I measure it, but like looking at the screen, I have no way of knowing what it is. I mean, you have your numbers here, there's 25, 50, which is millimeters, but in height, I'm not going to count all those blocks. So what we're going to do is create a line. So up here, there's kind of this fish hook looking thing, or you can click on sketch and then there's line. You click on line, and then you're going to get it to snap to the end of your circle. So this line here, you're going to get it to snap here, and then you click once, move the mouse away, and then you're going to type in, we're going to do 20. 20 seems like a good height for adding text and such, and making sure that it's readable on it. So you'll type that in, and you'll press enter, and then it sets it in place there. Now I'm moving my space around by pressing in the middle scroll wheel. That's how I'm doing that. If you press it in, you can click and drag your space around. So I'm going to move my space over so I'm a little bit more head-on with where I'm going to put my profile. So now that I have this line here, I'm going to create the inside. So with this, and I'll show you here, on the Bangle, the inside isn't actually flat. It has a little bit of an inset, like a curve, right? And you can kind of see it on here too. It has a little bit of an indent in the inside. So we want to make sure that that's on here. It's another necessity. The reason why we put it on there is because it helps with kind of the going over your knuckles. If you had just a flat surface, it's actually quite painful to put on and off. So that's another reason why we put that in there. So to do that, we're going to use a 3-point arc. So over back here in sketch, going to do arc, 3-point arc, click on that, and then our first point is going to be where the 20mm line and our circle meet. So you're going to get it to snap to that, click, move your mouse away, and then you're going to get it to snap to that 20 up there, click, and then move away. Now, I think I want to have it maybe like the third box over, if you were counting boxes here. That looks okay. You don't want it really far, because that doesn't make any sense. You don't really want it too shallow, because then you're going back to having it like too flat. So just somewhere in the middle. So like that. And after I've clicked to place that, then I can hit escape to get out of this, or if you right click, you can just click OK. So now I want to actually start making my design, right? Most of these, they are like a curve. So we use the Spline Tool and just create a little curve is what you can do. If you wanted just a simple arc, you could just do a simple arc. So I'll show you first the most common thing to do is we could, if you click on, so we could copy this arc here and just move it over and then create a profile from that if we wanted to. So I'll show you how to do that, because a lot of people do like the simple way. So you click on the line, and then you're going to do Control C, or if you're on a Mac, it's Command C, and then do Control V to paste your line, and you'll get a little crosshairs here. So if you click on this arrow here, it lets you move back and forth this direction, and then this arrow lets you move back and forth this direction. So, but we want to move just this way, which I moved that too far. So I think maybe about 5 millimeters, 4. Yeah, that looks good, right? And then I can, over here on the right, there's this box that has some different things in here. I'm not gonna tell you about them at the moment because they're not important right now. But you just want to make sure you hit OK, or enter, or press return. So now we have 2 arcs, right? And then the only thing is in order to make this a bangle, we can't really use this because it's not a profile. So this part here where I can click on it and it turns blue, the inside, that's a closed profile. That's something that we can use with the tool we're going to use. So the tool we're going to use to create this is called a sweep. So what you'll do is you'll have a profile and then you have a path. So how do we close it, right? So if you go up to line up here, and then you click your point on the top here, and then move over and click that white dot. That's now, there's no more white dot because it's connected to it. So we're going to do the same thing down here. Click the white dot and then snap it to this point here. And then now it's turned kind of a little bit more of like an orangish kind of color. So click OK. And now this can be my profile. So I'll go ahead and just show you what we would do next. So you go under Create and then Sweep. Click on Sweep. And then the first thing you need to do is select your path. So my path is over here. And you click on the path. And then up in the dialog box, you need to change to the path. Because this is our profile, but we need a path, right? So click on the word Select. It'll turn blue. And then you're going to select this line here that is your circle. So you click on that and then voila, we have shape. So what you could do is just go ahead and say OK. And then if you wanted to see like what it looked from a 3-dimensional view, you can click on the viewport up here and drag. If you click and drag it, and you can rotate. You can also hit the home. So this is a very, very simple bangle. It's probably your most common bangle you'll see. But I like things a little bit more interesting. I guess I'm weird like that. So what we can do is down here at the bottom, one of the big features of Fusion is the timeline, because you can go back in time and you can edit something that you already made and then update it later on. So I'll show you what I'm doing here. We can move this little scrubber. So if you're familiar with animation software, there's always a playlist with a scrubber and you can go in your past actions. So you'll click and drag back before we actually created the object, it should disappear. And then if you double click, or you can right click on this little icon down here and then do well, edit sketch, and then it'll take you back. Alright, so we're back where we were before we actually made it a thing. So now if you come back in here and say you want to make it more interesting, you can click and then press delete, right? What I did before that though, where I made the whole thing highlight, so if I hit Control Z, and then if you click on one of the lines, but double click, it selects everything that's connected to that line. The reason the arc didn't connect was because that was made separately. And then you can just press delete or backspace, or you can right click and click delete. Okay, so I want to do something a little bit more interesting. I'm going to use the Spline Tool. So the Spline Tool up here is the kind of squiggly worm looking thing. You can also click on sketch, and then spline is down here underneath slot. So for spline, you get the same crosshair you would with the line tool. You'll click on your point that you snap to here on the top between the straight line and the arc, and then you move your mouse away, and then you can set your next point wherever you like. And then after you move from that second point you set, then you start to get that kind of curve, right? So if I wanted to come down and say set a point here, you click, move the mouse away, and then it starts adjusting that previous curve. So I can just kind of create my little shape I'm making here. And then once you've snapped it back to where you were before, or if you're done, you can just, there's this little arrow, check thing. It's a circle with a check. If you hover over it, you can click on it, and then that gets you out of that line. Of course, I still have my crosshairs, so I can go ahead and right click and say OK. Or if you're using the keyboard, you can hit escape. So now I have this curve, right? And I have all these little points and handles. I kind of want to edit them a little bit more. So what you can do is you can just click and drag on the point. I don't really recommend that too often if you have a lot of points, because Fusion can get a little, can lock up. So the other thing you can do is if you right click, there's, in this little wheel menu, there's move copy. So you can click on that and then hover over one of those points and click on it. And then you can use this little box. So the move tool, it has those arrows that constrain it to that axis, but I kind of want a little bit more freeform for this. So what the square is it basically lets you move on both axes at the same time, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. So once you move that to where you want it, you can always click, you can get it to snap to a different point, you click on it, and then now I can move this point to where I want it, and so on and so forth, and just kind of like move it around to where I actually want it. And this part you can get a little bit creative if you want. Once you're done moving your points, you can go over here and click OK, or you can press enter, return. Now I have a different profile, right? So the thing that we want to keep in mind for printing is the distance between here and here. So this little section here. Because if it's too thin, then it might not print that well. We also want to keep in mind, don't have a really heavy steep like this. If that curve goes too far over, it won't turn out very good. So try to not have those too far over. So I think this is pretty good. This is what I'm going to go with. So I can just go up here and click Stop Sketch, and then click my button to step forward in the timeline, and voila, it's updated. Because remember, before I had just a simple curve. Now I have this. So the next thing that is pretty common and I'll show you, is people like to put shapes on their bangle, or they like to put text on their bangle, right? Something interesting. I did something, you know, kind of wild where I used a little leet and put awesome stuff, right? So you can do whatever you want. I think I'm going to start off with something simple, and what we'll do here is come back and we can zoom out. So that scroll wheel, if you move it forward and back, that's how you zoom. And then of course if you press it down, you can drag your space back and forth. Okay, so we got our bangle. I don't really want to look at it from the side. I kind of want to see it from a 3-point view here. Oh, I just noticed something here. Do you see this too? It looks like it's straight. So it updated, but I think it added stuff, right? So what we can do is, if we hover over that sweep, you can double click it and it'll put you back in the sweep. And as I suspected, I have this extra spot that's supposed to be cut out, right? So you can just click on that to get rid of it. And now it has that curve. Okay. So now I can press OK. Now it's updated. That's better. All right. So I think I'm going to do hearts. Hearts are pretty popular, and you may have already asked me to make a heart. So I will go ahead and just show you here how you make a heart. So the first thing is we need to make another sketch to create this from. So go under Sketch, Create Sketch, and then we're going to go ahead and select the front. So you click that, and then I'm going to make my heart off to the side over here. So I'm going to move my space over, kind of zoom in, because I want my heart to fit inside of here, right? Okay. So we'll go up here and we're going to use circles. So we're going to do a center diameter circle, and of course you click, move away, click again. But then for the next one, we're actually going to use a 2-point circle. So if you go back to circle, there's 2-point circle. Click on that, and then we're going to hover over that center point of the circle, move over, get it to snap to the edge of the circle, then click, and then you're going to get it so it's the exact same size, right? So I don't remember what size it was. I should have wrote it down. I think it's about there. Yeah. No, that's probably not it. Well, you know what we can do? We can make it not look too funky, and if you click on it, we can do sketch dimension, and so that's 7.554 something blah la 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 la. So what we'll do is we'll do a Control C or Command C to copy that, and then we're actually gonna click on this one over here and paste it, and then hit enter. That's better. So you just hit cancel because we're done with that. Okay, so we have 2 circles, right? Now if you know, like a heart, it has kind of a, there's these 2 humps on top, right? So now we're going to make the point on the bottom. So using the line tool, you can click on line, the little fish hook up here, and then you're going to get it to snap over to the side. Now you can make something tangent, which tangent just means that it's set and it'll move along that line, right? So if you click and drag, I get that little like circle thing, right? And I can move it down and sort of get it to snap in between here. Whee! That's totally not the way I wanted to go. We'll go ahead and just put it down like that, and then click OK. Let's try that again. So if you click and drag, and we want it to go in between those 2, click, and then you can do the same thing over here, and click. So something's awry. I'm sure you can probably tell. If not, what is wrong with this sketch? Specifically, why isn't this filled in, right? So if you were trying to check and see and you're like, I don't understand, why is it, I can't use this. So what you can do is you can zoom in, and clearly right here, those aren't connected, right? So what we could do is we could actually just move the circle over. So if you click on the line of that circle, it'll turn blue, and then you right click, move, and then we want to move it over just a little bit. Yeah, like 1/10 of a millimeter. That's fine. So then you can click OK, and then yay, look at that. It's closed profile. That's really cool. Alright, so the next thing that we want to do is if we're going to replicate this around the whole bangle, we need to make it three-dimensional, right? Okay, so we're going to extrude. Extrude is a really common tool, so you'll probably use it a lot, so it's good to use it now. So if you hover over the inside of your sketch that turns blue, you can click on it, and then right click, and you can get extrude. Now, if that's not the way you want to go, you can go up to create, and then there's extrude there. Also, extrude is one of the default features that, like tools, that get added to your toolbar. So you can also click that. So now we're in extrude. We want to select all of our profiles. So if you click and drag a box over them, it'll select everything, and then you can just reselect that profile that got unselected. So now we have the blue shaded part of our drawing, but we have a box with a 0 in it. So what you want to do is make it, say, 3. We'll do 3 millimeters. Right? Okay. Just to give it some depth. So once you put in 3, you can hit enter, or you can click OK on the right over here in the box. So now you have a heart. So with this heart, we're going to copy it around the whole bangle. So if you zoom out, and then now I basically need this to be on top of it, right? Okay. So this is where we're going to use the move tool. So use the move tool. If we go up here and we expand our bodies tree, so over here on the left there's a browser, and there's these arrows that expand the different things. So we have origin, we have named views, and then bodies and sketches. So we're going to go into bodies, and then if you hover over the body, it'll highlight the body in your workspace. So you're going to click on that, right click, do move, and then now we get our little crosshairs. So we want to move it over so it's in like kind of around there. So we see a shaded blue in the inside, so we can't actually see it, which means it's not on the surface of the bangle, but we need to move it there. So what you can do is over here on the viewport is you can click that home, and then now we get sort of this view where we can see the heart, we can see the bangle. You're going to want to move that heart. So all these different things here, there's circles and there's arrows and there's squares. Basically for this you want to avoid the squares. Do not use the squares right now. You're going to want to use this arrow that runs back and forth, front to back with your bangle. You're going to click and drag it to the front, right? Just so it pokes out a little bit. So you'll do that, right? Right about there. Looks good. So now we can click OK. Say OK. Alright. So now we have a heart on our bangle with a little bit sticking out. So maybe we'll adjust that move and move it out just a little bit more. Maybe not that much. Maybe minus 0.5? Do 2.5. Okay. Alright, so now you have your bangle with the heart that's in this place. I want to pattern it around the whole thing, right? So what you can do up here under create, there's pattern, and then there's circular pattern. So you can click on circular pattern, and then you'll see that right now it's just selecting part of it, but I want the whole heart. The reason it's doing that is because over here where there's this dialog box, it's on pattern type faces. We don't want faces, we want bodies. So if you click on it, pull down bodies. So you click on bodies, and then now our objects to copy is going to be this heart. So now see, you're getting the whole body. You're getting both the humps and the flat, right? So you click on that, and then now you go back over and you're gonna see axis, and you'll wanna click on select. You click select, and then now we have these different kind of, we can click a face or a line. You're going to want to click that blue line. And then now we got a couple copies, right? So you can adjust the copies. You can keep clicking that and getting more copies if you want. I think I'll do 9. I think that sounds pretty good. So if you do 9, that's all right. And you can click OK or press enter. So now I have hearts. I have a bunch of hearts, which is fun, right? Something that I kind of wanted to do before I did that was, I don't like how sharp this line is, right? So the same thing again, you can go back in your timeline, you can take this scrubber and go before the pattern, right? And then to soften up these edges, we'll use the fillet tool. So if you click on one of these edges, which it'll highlight black, or it'll basically change color. Click on that, it'll be blue probably. You right click on it, and then you'll do fillet, which if you right click and it's in the bottom there, and then now it's selected that whole side, but I want this side too. Okay, so now I have both sides and I have this arrow. Now you can click and drag the arrow if you want. You can click and drag it to what you want, right? Or again, you can type in what size you want. 1's probably fine. Yeah, I think I'll go with 1. So I can click OK. And then I can step back forward in my timeline and I have that nice little curve on all of my hearts. So the one last thing that I'll show is as a decorative to add to your bangle is text, right? Because I don't know how many times I get asked to show you how to do text, but a lot of people put text on their bangles. You probably even asked me, how do I put text? Okay, so what you're going to want to do is create a sketch for text. Something that I notice, and I don't know if it's particularly just the front view or something, but if you go to create sketch and then you click the front, right? So we're in this front plane that we were on before. You go to sketch and text, and then you get little crosshairs, you click, and then I can put in what I was wanting to use, and it's upside down, right? It's upside down and it's backwards. So one of the things you can do is there's this little arc that's your rotation arc, same one that's on the move tool, and you can move it, but it's still backwards, right? You could turn your viewport around so you're facing it from that direction if you wanted to, or you can just hit cancel. You can right click and swipe left to go back, or hit Control Z, and then we can just create our sketch for our text on the right side, right? So go there, and then we'll do sketch, text, set our point, type in your thing, and it's right side up. I mean, I'm not actually going to use 1, 2, 3. I think I'm going to do an M. There we go. Right, so I made an M. Then you can click on the font. You can change if you want it to be like something really funky that probably no one else is going to know what it is. I have like some Zelda fonts in here. You can use scripts and things. Certain fonts, they might not work, so keep that in mind. Pick something sort of, whatever you like. So I think I like this one, right? Because you can change the height too. You can make it a different height. This little blue circle, you can click and drag to move it around. So I might want it like around there. And now I kind of feel like I might want it taller. So if you change the height, you can do, yeah, like 13. That looks good, right? Okay. So then you can click OK. And then now, what I want to do is I want to split the face of my bangle. I know that sounds like crazy science, right? I basically want to like, when you roll out your cookie dough and you place your cookie cutter on it, and you get a little shape out. That's kind of what I want to do. In order to do that, I need to change this to lines, right? Because right now it's just text. It's not actually a path. But before I do that, I don't want to forget what font I use. So I'm going to actually click on my text Control C, Control V to paste and move that over. Of course, if you're on a Mac, it's Command C, Command V. So I'm going to explode this. If you click on the text where it turns blue and then right click, you can go down and hit explode text. And then it will either create a bunch of lines or it'll give you an error. For me, it gave me an error. This might happen to you. I strongly recommend that if you're not in love with it, you should probably find a different font. That's what I'm going to do. So, bump a sticker? No, let's not do that. Why don't I try that? I'll try this. Where to go? Where is it? Yeah, let's do Ancient Hylian. We'll do that. That looks good. Say okay, and then it might not like select right away. So you can always click near space and then click. Right click on it. Explode text. What? You don't like that one either? Okay, fine. I can't do Ancient Hylian. Now this might happen to you. Let's try androgen. No, I don't really want that one. How about that? That looks okay. So we can try that. So click on it to be blue, explode. What? Am I really doing that bad? If this happens to you, I'm so sorry. Let's see. Chalkboard? No. Oh, I should have a favorite font, shouldn't I? Yeah, try the Deftones one. Okay, so, okay. Yeah! See? That one worked. Okay. So now, I want to make I need to move this over here because I'm going to split this face, right? So if you double click on it and then you copy paste, you can move it over. And I'm kind of noticing that it's a little bit big, right? Because it won't fit in between my hearts here. I'm looking and it's touching, so that's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is move it to here, because I'm going to scale it, because you can scale this stuff. So say okay, and then we're going to go over here and up on sketch, there's sketch scale, so I'm going to click on sketch scale and then double click and to select all my points, and then my point of reference, which you need a point of where's the scale coming from. So you click on select and then just click one of the points, any point, and then you can drag it to where it's down a little bit. And then if you get it where you like it, you can say okay. And then now I want to move this and move it over. I think that looks better. The only thing is I kind of want it up more. Like, yeah, I kind of like that. Don't you like that? I think that looks pretty good, right? Okay, so you can hit okay. And then now we need to split the face. So to do that, up in modify, there is split face, right? But then there's also split face here, if you want to click on it there. And split face, what we need to do is select the face that we're going to split. So I'm using the outside of my bangle. So I'll click on that face. And then over here in the dialog, you'll click on select next to splitting tool. And then you'll click on that profile that you copied and scaled. And then it might not look like it's doing much. It looks like maybe it highlighted. So if we click on that house, you'll have something like this, where it'll be red. That's just basically telling you that it's cutting. So then you can click OK. And now we got our little M, right? Something that I wanted to do is I want to pull it out, because right now it's basically, it's flush. Like, it's the same curve, so it's not actually sticking out. So if I printed this, you won't see it. It's not really there. But I want it to be there. So if you click on that face of the M, and then you right click, there's press pull. Now if you wanted to get to this tool from up here under modify, there's press pull. And then I want to do 1 millimeter. Right? So then I can say okay. Right? So that sounds good, right? And then I want to pattern this. So something that you can also do with the pattern tool is you can pattern faces. I don't actually want to sit here and select every single individual face. So I think what I'm going to do is step back in the timeline before I pulled it, and then I'm going to go under create and then pattern, circular pattern, and then remember we changed the pattern type to bodies. Well, now we want to change it back to faces. So you change it to faces, you select your letter that you cut or shape, whichever you're doing, and then now you'll click the axis, you'll zoom out, and then you're going to click on that blue line that shows up in the middle that's like straight up, and then now we have our M copied, right? But I want it in between each heart. So just keep clicking that up until you get to whatever number you use. I use 9. So okay. So now I have a bunch of M's. At least I should. What? I had an error. Okay, well, if your compute failed, then I guess what you could do is maybe copy all the faces. I didn't want to have to do that. It's so tedious, right? Okay, whoops. Oh, you might have done this. If you click on that, all of a sudden we're in the sculpt environment. Oh man, just click OK. And then you can do undo, like Control Z, or you can right click, swipe left. There we go. Alright, so it wouldn't let me copy the M. So I'm going to try create pattern, circular pattern, and then change my pattern type to faces, and then select all these faces. Oh my god, it's so tedious. And an easy way to get around this, see, like, there's faces I can see, but then there's faces I can't see. Like, I know there's faces underneath here, so if you wanted to do that, if you hold shift while pressing in the middle mouse button and dragging, you can rotate your viewport up and down and around, right? And then just let go. And then keep selecting. And of course the dragging, it's if you hold in the middle mouse wheel and drag, you can pan your workspace around. So I'm going to hold shift and then push in the middle mouse wheel and drag to get around. So there we go. Now this should work, hopefully. If it doesn't, then, well, I'm doomed, I suppose. Alright, seems pretty good. Now let's try this again. If you click on the axis, we want that one, and we're going to do 9, so we're just going to type in 9, hit enter. Will the compute fail, or will the compute succeed? I think we may have success. Maybe. It's thinking. It's thinking about it. Oh, look at that, it worked. Okay. So this is kind of my cute little bangle, right? So we're going to wrap this up. Of course, you can continue to do whatever kind of fancy design you want to do. But for now, we need to get this ready to print. So first things first, we prefer to have all the bodies already combined. It helps solve any kind of surface errors. So the way that you're going to do that is if you go up into Modify and then click on Combine. Click Combine, select the Bangle, and then you can draw a selection box over everything. And everything turns blue. Even over here on our browser, everything's blue. Looks good, right? Okay. So then you'll just hit OK. And now it's all one body. So that's what you want. So okay. Next thing is I would strongly recommend curving this top up here. Like that. That's good. And that's how you make a bangle. I hope that I helped you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if there's anything else that you might want me to make a little tutorial on how to design, you can feel free to let me know in the comments below, or you can always email us. And if you're in my class right now, Thank you for showing up, and I had a lot of fun, and make sure that you thank Chick Tech for hosting it for you. And I think that's it. Have a great rest of your day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.